need to get power on the red side, and they need to counterpick to actually give them places for Bono to jungle around.
Yeah, you don't play Jin Air's style when you're playing against Jin Air. I just don't think that that is ever going to be a good idea. Morgana going to be the first ban here for Jin Air, followed by the Rakan. Ignar copping it a little bit towards the bottom side as BBQ, the Zoe, to be taken away from Grace. Most played, yes, but hasn't necessarily been super successful, but looking at win rates, like you said earlier, a very difficult thing when dealing with these two teams. Aatrox's not going to be seen either.
And you could even just triple ban Ignar if you wanted to, or just ban away one of...
Pike go now?
Nocturne is one to consider. Janesse will be happily first picking the Nocturne. The reason why I say that is, you don't look at game one and say, okay, we can just ban away one of Jin's champions and make the draft better, because it was all about the counter picks. It's all about how the draft came together rather than the actual champions. However, with a Varus ban by BBQ, which is a bit of a jump ban, they just give up the Nocturne. So that is a very risky choice in the LCK. Now, you could pick a jungle like Kindred and hit the map pre-6, but leaving open Nocturne is something no Korean team has wanted to do.
And Talia now going to be available as well for the first time in quite a while. Vladimir is up, was banned in the second round last time around, I believe, by Jin Air, so is going to be taken now. What does Bono get to take into the Nocturne? Not going to find out here, as Shen going to be taken away as well.
So they have to deny away the Nocturne-Shen duo that Griffin opened up the season really showing can be super powerful. However, the Talia you mentioned may actually go to Jin Air if they want it. Grace has played it in the past, and while they already have a jungler, Talia has already proved to be very maneuverable. See what the decision is on the Talia. As I don't mind the Vladimir. The Varus was banned by BBQ, and Ghost has not had a happy time on the Marksman, so it's probably going to be bot lane from them. And while we haven't seen good results out of the Vladimir bot lane, it was Tempt flexing into mid lane that picked up one of the few game wins for BBQ, so Vlad at least has a victory on the BBQ squad.
Yeah, and we saw Vlad yesterday play to such incredible effect by Viper as well. Still very strong on this patch, even though copped a little bit of an E nerf just on the damage ratios. Now, Jin Air have taken the Tahm Kench. Does that mean that AD Carry comes in? And the answer is no. Darius for So1 going to be locked down yet again.
So if they had a bot laner who was confident enough to play Talia, I think Grace would have taken the pick. If Teddy could play it, then you could also put it in the carry position and flex around Nova to roam around on a pick support. We know Nova likes pick supports. Until the previous game, the only champion he had a win on was the Rakan. But because they don't feel like the Talia in the carry role is what they want to do, they're going to give it up. And now Talia Shen can roam around the map as well. So we could have some big outnumbering. Wonder about the Darius priority. It was a good Darius performance in game number 1. When the Mundo matchup is very unlikely to happen, feels like the Darius priority a bit out of whack for the side of Jin Air.
Yeah, a little bit strange with how Jin Air have navigated this blue side draft. Jace going to be taken away, so they're still focusing on getting So1 the best matchup possible. Galio to be taken away from Jin Air now as the mid lane pull also going to get touched.
That's a very suspicious ban, because if it was going to be mid lane Talia, then you would have needed a LeBlanc ban, given that you just lost to LeBlanc in game number 1. So that does scream jungle Talia from Bono.
Yep. Bono wanted to have a little bit more practice on his champion. Jungle Talia has been a thing for longer than Kindred's been back in the meta as well.
You might be able to bait Grace into picking LeBlanc and then put it into the jungle, depending on what you draft at this pick as BBQ. But it seems pretty obvious, and taking top lane would make a lot of sense. Is he just going to get the Darius matchup for free? He is. Okay. That's a decision you can make if you're not too concerned about winning lane, but they would really like to win lane, Atlas.
Yeah, I mean, I think Crazy's probably forgotten what it's like to win lane, so just wants to go back. It's sort of like Stockholm Syndrome, you know? He's done losing so much that he actually likes it now.
Well, he's definitely going to be in the dog part of the lane there, the dog house for the Mundo. As, okay, we got a Ryze. It's going to be bot lane Ryze here against the Vladimir, bringing back the week 1 strategies.
Yeah, expecting the Vladimir to be towards the bottom side of the map, which is interesting given the fact that he can flex to mid lane Tempt. One of his victories was on the Vlad. There's only 2 of those as well, so you probably remember, as now Nova is going to let us know exactly how this Jin Air composition is going to work.
There's a lot to go on here. You'd think something flexible, because you're unsure about the lane assignments. It will be a flexible champion, but perhaps not the one you might have expected, because now someone is going to be playing the Lulu, looking like mid lane Lulu for Grace.
Looking like a get behind the Umpty composition as well, where we're going to be blowing people up with the Get Big Wild Growth coming out of the Lulu.
So now you can flex the Talia. Where's Talia going? Could be Tempt in the mid lane. For certain, this would be a Shen top lane. Okay, we got a Kled.
Okay, where's the Kled going? Is this going to be Tempt attempting the mid lane Kled? Or is it going to be going somewhere else? Should be.
Yeah.
That's going to be Talia in the jungle.
Doing his best Super Doinby hard carry impersonation here. Super carry Doinby happened on the weekend, and then we saw a lot of people, including Faker, practicing that mid lane Kled. I'm not sure if you want to take the TP. I think you have to go Ignite if you're going to do it, because he can already hit the map pretty hard. BBQ Olivers. Well, if the Vladimir had any trouble getting into team fights, if he's got the charge going, no problems there.
Yeah, absolutely not. This is the free Predator coming in for Ghost. I wonder whether that means we're going to see the Electrocute, the Phaser, of something a little bit different from the Vlad on the bottom side.
We are going to see someone who isn't Doinby attempt the mid lane Kled. We alluded to it yesterday. This is a champion that you need to put a lot of games in on. Even the top laners didn't want to play it the last time Kled was in meta. Let's see if Tempt can pull it off, because this has not been a kind season for him, and they have their backs against the wall, investing pretty heavily in this last pick Kled.
Yeah, watching Doinby obliterate Kingzone by himself.
Inspiring.
It is inspiring, but it's also very dangerous for a lot of our other players, because I often get trashed by something in lane. I then pick it, I feed 0-20 that game, because I have no idea how the champion really works to the nth degree.
And Kled is definitely one who can feed uncontrollably. So we'll wait and see.
You've got two different people you can feed on at the same time. You kill one and then you kill the other. Terrifying.
Well, they didn't end up with a lot of winning lanes in this draft, but can BBQ find a way to pilot the charge comp? Because if they charge their doom, that will be Jin'Ev picking up their first match win.
And it will be a 2-0 as well. They're staring down the barrel of a pretty difficult situation, our BBQ, but we asked them to be proactive. This composition has to be proactive. Let's get into game 2. The Glad Plane fans are out in force as we get into game number 2.
Ooh.
An Ignar fan, though, in the audience here. It's a cute one, winking at us.
There is a whole row of fans of the entire Jin Air squad. Very nice to see, trying to show some confidence. They're feeling pretty good after game number 1. I was feeling pretty good about BBQ pulling off counter picks. Not convinced they really got any of them, Atlas, and that's
yeah.
Because they actually got counterpicked in bot side and then self-counterpicked themselves in a couple of ways. Now, Tempt can win lane against the Lulu. Lulu doesn't do a lot of damage. If you remember the matchup we got at MSI, it was Anivia versus Kled, and pre-6 can't really get the Skull gone because he can't do enough damage, while Lulu does some decent harass. Not the highest harass laner of all, so maybe Kled can do some decent things. Here's my issue. Let's lay it out on the table. We watched game 1. We're watching game 2. BBQ had almost no coordination in that game. We saw Shen ultimates on people who are going back to the fountain. Yeah. The charge is the ultimate coordination ability in that it's very clear what you need to do with it, but also, if you mess it up, and who knows how many games Tempt has on Kled, probably not many, probably got inspired by super carry Doinby, you have to go in. You can't cancel it. You are committed.
Yeah.
And if he's committed and the other 4 members are not, it's not going to go well for BBQ.
He's just going to be dead. How that's going to work, or his charge is going to be off cooldown. You talk about the fact that Lulu doesn't necessarily have a lot of damage. Depends how Grace is going to build this. We've seen so many different Lulu builds so far. If the first back comes in and there's a hell of a lot of either AP or attack speed, this could be a Kled that's having a very rough time in the lane in the early stages.
Again, like, at the end of the day, if you ask me if Lulu's a good harass champion, the answer is yes. So you might say, okay, Papa Smithy, why are you saying he doesn't have a lot of harass? Actually being able to kill the Kled, almost impossible.
Before he remounts, yeah.
Getting him close to dismounting, decent, but there's not really kill pressure for a teleport Lulu in the mid lane. So that's why I say that. Notice that Tempt also did not go with the Doinby or even the Faker solo queue. Ignite Kled. This is a teleport Kled on a champion that already has very, very extensive roaming. There's a lot of teleports on the side of BBQ. maybe that will help them commit because they can be somewhere very fast together. They have Weaver's Wall, Stand United, and 3 teleports. But I'm a bit surprised because now even Kled, who situationally has kill pressure on Lulu, if you hit the right all-in with the jungler, you can make things happen. There's no Ignite there, so I'm not really sure what the teleport is going to accomplish.
Not to mention the fact that Ignar's taken teleport without taking Spellbook as well, which is an odd one. Wants to be able to roam around and get back to the lane. Completely understand how it's going to work, but it's sort of conceding lane pressure despite the fact that Ghost has gone for a more lane-focused Vladimir-style build.
Could be for just ditching lane and teleporting out. That's a possibility here. As we do see people sometimes go for the late lane swaps around 5 minutes.
Yep.
We'll wait and see what the decision there is. Bono on this often banned Talia. Bono certainly, decision-making wasn't great in game number 1. How about this decision?
Yeah, we're going to get the taunt to come out. It's a nice seismic shove as Nova needs to fat flash it, and he gets it. Will get himself out of there. Does still have the heal available, but doesn't have his flash any longer. Ghost takes a huge round of spells from Teddy. Really laying down the hurt as Umti's going to find Bono. Will get the fear as he flashes over, gets the fear in the right direction, and that's first blood going to Teddy. Umti with the god tier play.
Umti ahead of the play once again. The dodge field was good from the Shen, but not enough to stop the kill coming down. Teddy had DPS'd out Ghost, so he had to stand so defensively. No one provides coverage, and there's first blood for the Jin Air team. Crucially onto Nocturne is the assist, the kill onto the Rise. The first item, the tier coming in early, and Nocturne getting the job done, even before the paranoia is up.
Yeah, Teddy going to be able to teleport back into this lane now as well with all the items that he wants to pick up. Tier is done. See what else he can get. Another Sapphire Crystal just to boost that Rise damage. Jinna off to a great start.
Very nice ward also. You're going to have priority in the Darius lane. We should, if you miss pick and ban, interestingly, Crazy did draft the Mundo into the Darius, so knew he was going to lose lane.
Counter pick, yep.
Very Dade-esque in that one, and I'm not sure if you want to be Dade-esque on a team that's 0-8.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know what Dade's doing at the moment, but I remember watching him on Masters 3 when he went over to the LPL, and it was not a great time.
Look, there are a lot of people who don't know who Dade is, but I will always remember who my Dade is.
Yeah, we know who our Dade is. You're my papa, and he's my Dade.
Yeah.
That's how that works. That's how I know the distinction between the two.
Well, Umti's Nocturne distinction might be a 6-minute level 6 if he keeps getting Scuttle Crabs. Going to get the one on the bottom side. Bono happy feeding a bit, needs to find some camps, but sadly he can't invade, doesn't have flash, and there's no camps in his jungle.
Yeah, and we've got a 44-36 situation here in the mid lane as well, where Grace is farming things out quite nicely. Gone for a bit of a lane build here with the double ring into the book.
Well, he's facing a lane build also, and double Doran's coming out of Tempt.
Yep. The soldier build, as we call it, just needs to get some shoes, and he's ready to get on the battlefield.
Your boy Kled with the soldier build.
Yeah, that feels pretty good. Tempt is the mascot today. He's riding a dang chicken. We just need a Galio in the game with the sick new BBQ skin, and then we're all fine and dandy as far as branding is concerned. Unfortunately, the BBQ brand seems to be lose every game at the moment. We are going to have a slight pause to see whether they can sort out whatever problem's going on. I think it is over in the BBQ camp.
I believe this is BBQ noticing that the enemy jungler hit level 6 at 6:15 and just calling a pause saying, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, can we have a Chrono break? We want to see whether this is actually possible. Is he getting more?
Oh, Joel tells you not the problem. Thank you, Joel.
Just complete buzzkill in our ear. That is not the problem, guys. It is going to be a game issue, though. What's up, Joel? You let us know exactly what is going on.
Yes, we want to know what is up or what is up.
It's a little bit more lag issue, guys. So we're going to have to get everyone reconnecting into this game, which means, once again, we can just chill out and discuss Jin Air versus BBQ. Already a great start from Jin Air. And if Jin Air was to have... Oh, my goodness. We need a Corki. We needed Corki versus Kled in the mid lane so that we can have the plane versus the chicken.
That's true.
Oh, it would have been genius. It would have been so on brand for everyone. It'd be like we're advertising with Champion Select.
Jin Air having some issues off the Rift, so any advertising they'd probably appreciate at this moment.
Yeah, or maybe they don't want to be advertised in this particular game.
True.
Even though this could be the only one that they win.
Yeah.
Oh, if we go to game 3, I'm going to need to talk to Grace and get that Corki in there.
Speaking of talking to, MVP interview with one of the two teams today, first of the season.
Hey, yeah, finally. And I wonder how the Spirits are going to be, because they'll be coming off their first victory, which is great, but they'll be coming off the first round robin being 8-1. Oh, 1-8, which just isn't very
At least you can do the sportisms, you know, the 1 week at a time kind of sportism of like, at least we ended it strong.
We totally won this week. And actually, in the last 3 weeks, we're undefeated.
You sound pretty convincing as a meathead, by the way.
Thank you very much. I do pretty well at the moment. You know, I've been staying away from the gym, eating more.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been working.
You're looking thick.
Thanks, dude.
You're sounding thick too.
Double C. Yeah, thanks, man. No, I'm real thick. I'm cutting at the moment. Yeah.
Well, if they ever make an Australian remake of Rocky, I think you could do a decent one.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
You could just punch me in the face really hard so I can have my face do that weird thing that Sylvester Stallone does as well.
You say enough silly stuff, I'll be tempted, Atlas.
Oh, hell yeah. We've been doing it for a long time. You still haven't physically abused me as of yet, so...
I'm happy that you've learned to lie for the cameras.
Okay, we're talking about basically domestic violence between the two of us. We're almost a married couple.
Well, we just saw outright violence in game number 1, so
yes,
we're keeping on brand with the series.
And Umti's continuing it. I mean, I've never seen Terrify used that well by a Nocturne, getting the flash over the other side so he gets feared in the other direction now that the fear's changed just a little bit.
Of course, now that has to be prefaced with that was about 3 years ago that was changed. I think it was a good change because the RNG fear was actually...
it was almost bad for Nocturne.
Well, RNG effects in general have always been things in League of Legends we don't like too much.
Yeah.
I think the Drakes are like a little bit on the side of healthy, but the fear either like winning you a lane or losing you a lane based purely on which way the person pathed wasn't ideal. Now you can flash over and there's Terrifier and fear effects, but... Fear is probably a pretty apt word for this series because I'm sure both teams were wondering before the series started, what if we lose? And you see the players here looking very solemn, especially on the side of BBQ, already 1-0 down.
It's looking solemn, but also looking like, what does this mean if we lose this game? You can see Tempt's face. He looks almost incredulous as to the severity of the problem.
And I think, honestly, the viewers, you and I think we probably find it easier to empathize with the emotions we see from the teams that are losing rather than the teams that are winning. Like, you and I will never win Worlds. We'll never know what it feels like to be a competitor on the world stage. But everybody's lost. Everybody's sacrificed. Everybody's worked hard and not go over the line. And I, for one, completely see... Tempt right now looking like I really wish the ground could swallow up and I could disappear.
Yeah.
Like, everyone understands those sort of emotions, but these are proud players. A lot of them very high on the challenger ladder. A lot of them have talent. It's that weird spot where you have a game between BBQ and Jinair. We're getting an update in our ears, by the way, but we have a game between BBQ and Jinair where still, even though it is 0-8 versus 0-8, there's a real world where players like Ignar go to a team overseas and instantly upgrade them. And yet, they're on a team that's looking like they're going to go 0-9. It's insane how there can be talent. Undeniably, there are talented players on the Rift on both sides. But it's all about the configuration. I think the schedule has counted against teams that are losing because once you go 0-2, 0-3, and then you play 3 matches in 6 days, when do you escape out of the hole? This was supposed to be the day. Get on that ladder. Find a victory. Maybe things can be different. It's not looking like it's already confirmed that one of these teams, it's going to be more the same.
Yeah, it just feels like continuous waterboarding a lot of the time. We've got a bit of an update, guys, and Umti can't actually see monsters on the minimap at the moment, so might need to get him a bit of a reconnect as well. So a little bit of an extended podcast. And yeah, Papa, illustrating the fact that, yes, these are still fantastic players doesn't take anything away from that sense of disappointment that you're going to feel. We all know, doesn't matter which division you're in, if you fill your match history with red, you're feeling absolutely terrible. Doing that on a stage in front of so many fans, I can't imagine how much that emphasizes that feeling.
And again, it's a feeling that is primal. It's a feeling that everyone feels, whether you're talking about just League of Legends bad beats or life bad beats. You and I, even in our casting career, have had disappointments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many, many times. I remember it was actually 2 days after the Season 3 World Championships ended that I had my call with Riot Games about potentially joining the LCS for, would have been Season 4, and I got rejected. And I felt the same thing of wishing, was all my time wasted? Was all the casts I did wasted? Will I ever amount to anything? And you can argue whether I did or did not after that fact.
I think you did pretty well, Pop Smithy.
It's a very primal emotion. So my hearts go out to these players. You want to see people succeed. These guys have sacrificed a lot, and yet we're sitting here, and especially BBQ are wondering, will we ever win again?
Yeah.
And we don't actually know the answer. We've never had a 0-18 team. This could be the season.
Well, we'll see which one it is going to be. Of course, Jinair on the cusp of being able to take this one. They've had a great early game so far in game number 2. Just to give you a bit of an update, but Papa, I want to talk to you about my first disappointment experience because mine was a little bit different. not necessarily going to be able to
How
completely finish
disappointing.
it.
We're going to have some video games.
Oh no, you just don't even want my story anymore. We are going to get back in there though, and that's exactly what everyone wants. But mine was actually back in 2013, and it was when I was denied an EB Expo position.
That was a casting gig.
Yep, you were actually there. Was a casting gig, a little bit more on the community side, not exactly a huge one, but I thought that I deserved it, and I was told no. But the wake-up call for me was actually fantastic. I needed to get over myself just a little bit. I was a bit arrogant back then, feeling like I could do it better than the big boys, but I couldn't. And after that, really was a way of helping out, as the charge is going to come in on the top side. So one's going to flash. That means that Tempt's going to be here, but can they actually get anything done? As okay, Ignar looking for it, gets the flash taunt, and they brute force it, but they get the kill on the top laner.
Well, he did confuse him. I don't know if the Hex Flash was necessary, but they get the kill. So overall, the rotational play will get a kill there. All right, Ignar. All right.
Yep. Okay. Well, we're going to get some ultra shoves in multiple lanes now, so we'll see whether that top lane kill was actually worth it. Remember, guys, it's pre-8 minutes, so that Darius is well and truly back in the lane before anything happened as far as a shove. And Opti's going to steal a blue buff.
I guess if you send 4 people, you can shove the wave in early, but Ghost has to ghost away. That's very on brand.
Ghost with Ghost certainly makes some sense, but Umti just takes the blue buff, doesn't suffer any damage for it. Ghost will have to go back, doesn't have flash to get him, teleport to get himself back down to the lane. The question, was it worth it, is definitely an interesting one.
We don't need the end of game hindsight. No, it was not worth it. They sent too many people.
They got a kill though.
If you needed 3, maybe it's worth it, but they sacrificed basically everything to get a kill on a level 7 champion. I believe that's 6 seconds earlier than pre-8-13 you get to lane at level 7. It equalizes out at level 8, so they didn't even punish him significantly. Still going to be a big CS advantage. Top side is, well,
yeah,
no
has
ultimate.
A 2-level advantage on the Taliyah.
Let's just say that no ultimate at 8 minutes 30 for a jungler is pretty bad.
Yeah. That electrocute is not really going to be doing very much damage. That's the difference between, you know, how you take your hairdryer that you bought at a place with 240 volts and you take it to America, and it's like 110. That hairdryer ain't using very much electricity. It's just sitting there going, it can't actually dry any hair.
Well, if there's one thing that we didn't see from BBQ in game number 1, it was electricity. No one was putting up their hand to get kills, and at least Tempt pressed the ultimate button and they roamed up and got a kill. That was at least a decisive move, even though we can hindsight and say it wasn't worth it. So it wasn't the best use of the charge ever, but it did remove.
You know, the theory's good,
yeah.
I guess. You know, and they did get what they wanted.
Here we
just
go.
Don't necessarily
There's
know
an
why
ultimate.
they wanted. In goes Bono. Yes, so on. Getting abused, and Ignar down here as well. Spirit's Refuge comes in. Easy one as Crazy's going to continue the punishment. So on, 0-2-0 now, and they seem to have a plan. BBQ want to break open the top lane and get their advantages there.
But they will not be able to win the turret race, already chunked down in bot lane, and Ghost will lose a lot of farm. If Ghost doesn't hit his items, the team fight is going to be pretty late, pretty delayed on the side of BBQ. The first turret goes the way of Jinair.
It's still a pretty close race. We're switching back and forth. It is going to be Jinair that picks it up, but that was real close.
Yeah, killing the turret, I think it was always going to go to Jinair, but like you mentioned, it was a lot closer than you might have thought. The roaming is getting kills, but they do also give away the side of the map the Infernal is on. Can they get the Rift Herald to balance this one out?
Well, Umti's level 8. He's the same level as his top laner at the moment. Nova's got Abyssal Voyage as they're considering
They do not want to give up the
dive.
Rift Herald.
Yeah, they're not. They're moving all the way up there. Double Globals is available here as Abyssal Voyage is going to come in, and Shelly disengaged from instantly. They don't want to have to deal with this one at all. This is a triple global composition with 3 teleports on it as well. So you know that Jinair are going to be able to get there if they want to.
Maybe we're just going to get that 5v5 really early into this one. Tempt, he does have the charge back up. Jinair starts to disengage.
Yeah, they're going to disengage as well. No Paranoia to be used just yet. I feel like Umti's going to max out his Duskbringer before he even uses his first ultimate. Level 9 going to be hit relatively soon. BBQ capitalizing very nicely here as even the Seismic Shove is good. On to Grace. Teleport now to be invested. And it's going to be Nova paying a visit with his spell.
So many different things happening on the Rift. A lot of cooldowns used, even if there wasn't a Titanic advantage. Taken one way or the other. Jinair feeling confident to lead with their face. They know that Umti is very powerful at this moment in the game. We already talked about the potential coordination problems of the charge, given the Kled mid. It's very new tech, being cribbed from the Rogue Warriors at Rift Rivals. Do remember that Polymorph onto the Kled will be very, very powerful in a team fight to...
Yeah, 2-for-1 special. You get Kled and Skull with one poly.
Exactly. Remove a lot of the threat from that Kled, so... Definitely you need your allies there, because if it's only Kled, he's gonna die.
Yeah. It certainly is. I wonder how the dismount works if you get polymorphed and then taken below the health threshold. I guess he still goes untargetable. Strange one. Haven't actually seen that interaction before.
I'd like
Hopefully
to see
we
it.
get one. Yeah.
So Jin Air make the smart move. Consider what they did. They did not swap Infernal for Rift Herald. They went top, put down wards around the Rift Herald, knew they couldn't start it themselves, and then just sent all their faces into the Infernal. So they know they won't lose the objective on the top side, and they do get the Infernal. That is the safe way of guaranteeing a 1-for-0 to start and a contest at the Rift Herald if BBQ does walk up there.
Well, BBQ are going to go back there as well and start it up once again. Bono, of course, does do a lot of damage to these big objectives.
Feeling strong enough to face check.
Yeah, in fact, no one's going to head over there, and it is going to be Jin Air giving it up in the end regardless.
Early pings from the Nocturne bot side. We'll see if they can punish. Remember, the Mundo.
Yeah, Paranoia is going to fly forward. Instant stopwatch comes down. Crazy doesn't want to miss the timing window this time, as we've got Stand United to come in, and Crazy lands the slow. But now Jin Air all pack it up and head towards this inner turret on the bottom side, but still have to disengage.
A lot of tools up for Crazy. I think this was pretty speculative by the side of BBQ, and they get the Rift out. Of course, they'll instantly charge it and try to punish Jin Air for their rotation.
Yeah. Seems like everyone just making a few of these macro errors, not necessarily losing their lives for it, but as far as the objectives, going over for free to either team. And now Ignar wants to find more. Charge going to come down. Good devour from Nova. And it is going to be Tempt making his way forward. Flash comes out. Bear Trap on a rope is going to be able to grab the Toadfish, but he's going to flash his way to safety. And now Grace, he wants more. Umti's going to come in as well. Remember, he's got a lot of damage, but he's pretty squishy in Hemoplague. Now on top of Jin Air. Look at how low they are. Bono, basically dead. 200 health.
Whoa.
The flash forward, the Decimate, the Apprehend, and so on is the one to make the moves for Jin Air.
For some game demanding a game breaker. Nice move from So1 to actually pull off those kills. Jin Air was so ready to clean up. No levels in the Realm Warp for Teddy. Can understand that some people don't put a level until level 10. Teddy takes a couple of turret shots, but here's the minion wave. Here's an inner turret for the side of Jin Air.
And here's nothing that Ghost can do about it as well, so wasting his time. They are going to be able to back away after this one. Another blue buff to be stolen away. It's been a few minutes since they've got any of those. Let's have a look at this one. Again, Tahm-Kench value certainly high.
The one-way trip for Tempt. He's the only one in the backline, has to flash out, and he's dismounted. Definitely the sort of poor charge we were prophesizing this week, given the new pick of Kled mid lane. From here, Jin Air just like, we really want to close the gap, but it's so tricky to do so. So1 trusts his ranges, gets the flash Decimate and the flash Apprehend. Beautiful stuff from him. He's the one to separate the two teams, and execution, once again, better for Jin Air.
And he was the one that copped all of the aggression in the early game as well, so getting that kill and the assist is actually a huge deal, considering the fact that he's still on CS parity with the Mundo, so now very even on gold. And they managed to get first turret as well, so the Darius should be able to start bullying in a side lane.
Atlas, BBQ drafted only for teamfight composition. On the red side, they were counterpicked as if they were on the blue side in game number 1. Moments like that continue to happen, and their draft once again is pretty outclassed by Jin Air.
Yeah, we need to illustrate what they're trying to do, but I guess, you know, when a team does get out drafted as far as the laning phase and then does nothing about helping themselves through it, you have to ask the question as to what the heck they were thinking.
I think if you, my approach, and I've already established my bias on this, is go for the easy to execute win lane, win game, and don't have to deal with, well, communication wasn't on in game number 1. Well, we made a couple of sidesteps in terms of macro. If you just win lane, win game, you warp the game, so whatever the enemy team does, there's areas of the map they can't go to, because damn, that Darius is huge, or an issue like that.
Yeah.
Instead, they're saying, all right, I'll start with the charge, and we'll combo it with this, and Ignar will have the timing this game. I know you couldn't do it game 1, but game 2, communication will be better. That's already a lot of conditionals, and conditionals haven't suited either of these two teams, and that's why I'm surprised to see BBQ return to the well for a second game.
And Grace has been doing so much damage, Papa. Jin Air have almost done double the damage of BBQ so far this game, and if anything illustrates that proactive or lack of proactive play coming in from BBQ, despite what they were doing on the top side of the map. It's certainly that damage graph. They just haven't even been trying to hurt Jin Air.
It's because they can only deal in solos. They can't deal in grouped play because there's only been one real grouped play that happened on the map and they botched it. So they desperately need to get in there as a team, BBQ, and find a way to coordinate Vlad ult, Kled ult. Those are the two big ones. They could be the start of a good news story, especially if Bono has been the consistent damage dealer behind it with the threaded volley. Attempts in a side lane. They've got these teleports. What do the teleports mean? Because a lack of Ignite, that hurt the laning phase for the Kled. Still very competitive with the Lulu in terms of CS, which is very decent for the Kled, but actually getting value from the Kled, we're waiting for that.
Yeah, he was the one that did manage to pick up the kill onto the Darius on the top side of the map as well, but like we were talking about before, a lot invested to only the kill gained. You can see the Darius pretty comfortable as well. Now Grace thinking about trying to get some damage down onto Crazy, but no Morellonomicon, no Ignite, so probably not going to want to try it here against the Saddest on the top side.
With Executioner's Calling, I think they would have got the kill, just Whimsy, Wild Growth, and the healing reduction for a level 1 Mundo ultimate. And they would have been able to kill him, but with the lack of healing reduction, like you mentioned, Atlas, probably smart to look for a better spot.
And talking about good spots, Papa, Teddy has finished his Seraph's Embrace. He's 2-0-0, 30 CS advantage over Ghost, and he's almost got his Morellonomicon as well. Umti going to help him out there by picking up this standing gold and global gold by taking the outer turret on the top side. Still an outer missing on the in the mid, but charge on the bottom, and they're once again going after So-On. He's going to get taken down. Kled picks up that kill, but they're trading it for structures. They're trading it for objectives, and if this inner goes down as well as the outer in the mid lane, good God, it's not worth it for BBQ. Teleports coming in everywhere. In goes the Nocturne, but the flash immediately out from the Shen. The other teleport cancelled. Miscommunication everywhere.
Tempt will eventually get this bot lane turret, but yes, it was the fact they were being punished in 2 lane that you could see the desperation of killing a Darius at his inner turret. That is all they were able to do. They do take the turret to equalize the outer turret trade, but it's a down-tempo gank attempt because they have to go so deep in territory they don't control to get the first kill. The Jin Air can very easily reset, hit the rift again, and So-One's TP is up.
Yep, Jin Air want to make their way in. Remember, Paranoia is off on cooldown. Now, that could have been a steal opportunity if Umti had it, but it is going to be taken there from Bono down to 47 health. Now Jin Air Greenwings knocking on the front door. BBQ base. His outer turret now very, very low. Okay, Weaver's Wall going to come down as Teddy. He may have to flash again. No, he won't. Devour's going to be there for Nova. And Jin Air use a very low cooldown and trade it for a pretty long one.
I can understand why Bono did it. I believe at the time Darius was showing on the deep vision they got in the red side jungle, so they thought it would be an outnumbered fight. But Tahm Kench gets over and can easily devour and spare it. Overall, despite the overly aggressive dive, they used their teleports to at least stop Jin Air from trading up and ended up about a kill ahead overall, if you consider it, in terms of the play. Now, those teleports are on cooldown. Jin Air have all of theirs. And let's see, with the shoe on the other foot, how Jin Air can use their summoner advantage.
Yeah, and if Jin Air are going to win this, we want to see Jin Air actually improve, actually make changes, make adjustments, because they've had a lot of time off, looking at returning to the drawing board, figuring everything out. And yes, they were able to win game 1, but it was pretty chaotic. And now we've had some macro missteps. Can they clean it up as we move into their territory, into the late game?
Things definitely get simpler when they take the mid lane outer turret. There are 3 turrets to 3, but this turret is going to die right now. Suddenly, long lanes for Umti to make his next play. Crucially, he's been at level 10 for a long time. He's actually out-leveled by Bono, amusingly, given how the earlier game's gone. So Umti's given up a lot of camps and slowed down. It's all right, we're going.
Yep, teleport is going to come down. The charge is going to get the Kled right in there amongst it. Good wild growth, though, as Jin Air are able to get back into position. Huge slow under the Mundo. Paranoia is going to get Umti in there, but now it's getting turned around. BBQ, their health bar is just so big, and Teddy now just wants to take them all down. Good movement speed with the Whimsy, but somehow no one dies.
Very even fight. It looked like Jin Air could turn around.
Oh, the flash from Teddy. Seraph's Embrace keeps him alive, and that's going to be the Lulu grabbing that kill. Teddy just gets the bull by the horns and takes the first kill.
Nice turnaround by Jin Air. Looked like they would win it more decisively, but the teamfight positioning let them down a little bit. They had to use the wild growth on the Tahm Kench and not on a fighter to actually keep BBQ around. Everything's on cooldown, looking for another kill.
Yeah, Crazy He's going to get stunned up and taken down. Nova's going to grab it. Realm Warp, very short one, but they're looking for Ghost. No flashes available to lock him down, and it's just one kill after the other. 2-0-2 now for the Rise.
BBQ not playing around how easy it is to get the further picks after. Watch the replay. The Tom Kench just answers Kled instantly. The wild growth there. You understand why it was put down, but it doesn't actually win the fight for them. It could have been on Umti for the re-engage. This would have been a much more one-sided fight. Someone has to disengage. He takes the brunt of the damage. But after this point, everyone on BBQ, including the front line, is super DPS'd out. Teddy sees his man, and it's an inspired flash from a previous match winner who's had a quiet season.
Yeah, he has. Seems like the rest of the team hasn't really been keeping up, but Teddy, damn. Especially this series has been doing very, very well. His Swain in game number 1 was also good. As a very notable marksman player in Teddy, the Rise is looking fantastic in this game. It's Grace, the quiet achiever, though. The Lulu just doing heaps of work as far as getting that consistent damage done in these fights.
Compositional answer to the Kled. Team fight from the Kled again, and all in they hard committed on. At least BBQ are committing. Yeah. Unable to actually profit from. Now the Baron setup is here. Troll War is going to be very swiftly deleted. Now the Umti has the finish on the Dusk Blade of Drakthar. Jin posturing around the Baron. They don't really have a tank, so taking the Baron in any sort of sneaky fashion is pretty tricky.
Yeah, a few shields available here and there. You know, Grace able to throw a Whimsy on, and Nova could potentially tank for some period of time, but I see what you mean. It's a difficult proposition here for Jin. They want to be utilizing their global advantage, though, with no one on the bottom side of the map, because they've got so many global abilities, so many teleports, so much gives them freedom to move away from the Baron pit and be there in a moment's notice.
At the highest level, if you look at an enemy comp and try to work out the chance they take Baron, it's basically, the equation should be, how boned is the enemy team going to be if they have to turn? And if you have no tank, that's the issue, is everyone's at half health, and then you just get aced.
Real boned, yeah.
So that's the kind of thing you have to consider, is how safely, do they have a Mundo to disregard the damage from the Baron and turn? The answer is no. They have a Darius, they have a Tom Kench. So in that kind of a way, BBQ should be a little bit more hesitant. They know the enemy team has great pick CC if they do get caught face checking, and they know the enemy team is going to take it a bit slower when it comes to Baron pace, so they can be a bit slower in their own face checking, confident that Jin aren't going to rush it down.
Yeah, good vision available here as well from BBQ, so despite the fact that Jin do know relatively well where BBQ are, it's the same can be said for this BBQ roster, as Troll Ward going to be taken out here as Teddy moves himself up. Doesn't want to get himself into Flash Taunt range, but there's only a Hexa Flash available here, as he is going to answer back. The Q's really starting to do work, given the fact that Teddy's very close to his Rabbiden's Deathcat third item.
New school build from the Rises. We very rarely see the Rod of Ages because the game pace has gotten so much quicker, so tier into a very fast Ceres to charge it up and get the shield for utility. It's usually a second item, Shirelia's Omura and Nemicon for different types of utility, and then from there, just pure AP. At the end of the day, you're not a frontliner, you're a damage champion, you're in the marksman or AD awesome dude role, so it makes sense to index more on damage than on survivability when you're going for this bot lane Rise.
Well, at the moment, it's a bot lane Darius, checking out So-On, has his Trinity Force done, and building towards Hysteric's Gauge with the pickaxe first. I like it, aggressive option. There's Umti, his Dusk Blade's going to pop, can't actually quite find where the ward is. There it is, discovers it now as So-On moving his way down. Weave as well, just to deter the Jin roster from taking this dragon. But remember, 5 seconds is going to be enough. Talia takes that one down. Realm Warp, not going to get Umpty in there, but he wants to be back so he can use the Paranoia. Charge defensively, just to clear out this minion wave and save the inner turret. Good work from BBQ, taking something for nothing.
Yeah, overall a nice trade for BBQ. Like you mentioned, 2 ultimates for an Infernal. Not even any turret damage because of the respect the charge will draw. Jin aren't going to be done. They'll be looking for an apprehend. Flashes up on So-On. How aggressive are they going to be around this inner turret?
Yeah, a lot of options just to teleport down here for Grace so they can use anything that they want. Nova doesn't have a flash. He's got Cleanse and Barrier for this next fight where the Tahm Kench really wants to stay in there and stay amongst it. But Umti going to take yet another blue buff. As Crazy spots him. He wants to give it over to Teddy. He's going to be able to do so.
Life of a jungler.
Yeah. I like how he just pops out, says hi to the Mundo and says, I'm just going to hold this for my friend. Just leave. Can you just leave for a second? Thanks.
It's a very long lane. So Mundo took the invitation and did in fact leave.
Yep.
Very hard to translate this into a split push of an inhibitor, so it seems like someone is going to be trading minions with Mundo. This is where we need to see Jin Air make a smart decision around objectives. The Inferno should have been theirs. Usually when you take double turret in the bot lane, you're expecting free Drakes. Didn't get it, because BBQ made a good move. Now Jin Air need to get something else, but now it's just a bit of damage onto the inner mid lane turret.
Well, Teleport is going to be invested now as BBQ want to hold on to this inner turret with all of their might. They do so. Charge on cooldown still, so Temp not going to be able to follow up with an engage. Now Jin Air need to clean up the top wave as it's crashing towards the inner turret. Not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, just going to be denying a lot of minions here from Jin Air as it moves on up. Gold advantage, basically nothing. 2,000 gold in favor of Jin Air. One turret is going to be sitting in the balance. They've got the minion wave to be pushing towards the inhibitor turret on the bottom lane. You'd have a lot of people turn up and try and rush down that inhibitor turret if the BBQ members are not positioned to take that wave down. So you can see Crazy, he's going to move down there. A lot of funny business can happen with this composition.
And I think funny business is sadly the most reliable way this game will end, more so than a smart play from either team. And the reason I say that is, if after picks and bans you told the BBQ coach, hey, at 27 minutes, you've picked multiple losing lanes, you have strong team fight, would you be happy being 2,000 gold behind? He'd say definitely yes.
Hell yeah.
Jin Air had a good start, but have been on a couple of objectives in a row, showing why they're currently 0 and 8 and in basically joint 9th spot. Now the items are starting to hit for Jin Air, but crucially items are starting to hit for BBQ as well. And they do have the ability to dogpile hard with the charge. Jin Air don't have control over anyone on the map. In fact, they don't have control wards on the map. So this is definitely a much poorer performance macro-wise than we saw from Jin Air Game 1. And it just feels like a pick on the jungler is going to be the thing that sets this game one way or the other.
Well, now we're looking for another charge as Teddy very far forward, but he has Nova there with the Devour. Now Teddy able to set himself up in Paranoia right into the backline. Umti just buying some time, but not very much, as he just gets obliterated by the new death cap that Ghost had picked up, and they do not get anything in trade. You mentioned pick on the jungler. It's exactly what just happened to Jin Air.
Yeah, no coordination from Jin Air. Nocturne goes in, Nocturne gets popped. He's in the death chamber. BBQ have a lot of ability to turn off Baron, but not the most Baron damage. They're looking for a pick, but most of their ultimates are on cooldown.
Well, Teddy still wants to get work done here. Remember, it does a lot of AoE as the Rise, and he does have his new hat built up as well.
He is the strongest champion on the Rift by far. And with the Whimsy, he's pretty damn fast.
Yep, he's going to get knocked back, but he just wants to find himself range to hit someone with an ability. He doesn't care who it is. Tempt's going to take a fair bit, even able to give some over to Crazy there for some weird reason, but no Baron, of course. Jin Air able to slow this one down, wait until Umti back available yet again. He is in fact still here. And we've got him waiting on a GA as his next item. I believe about 900 gold-ish, a little bit more.
Just to be clear, Teddy is an absolute monster at this present point. Right now, he has 3 items. He's the strongest Rise we've seen because he has 3 items. He has a Whimsy and also the shield coming through from Seraphs and the Lulu. So he's not the ability to kite him is pretty much 0. He also has a Knight's Vow on him and a Tahm Kench in his pocket. He's basically a marksman, just under a different guise on this Rise.
Different kind of damage there as well. As Bono's going to face check so on, but Crazy's making his way in. Stand United comes down there as well. He gets into the stopwatch as we've got the ultimate still here. Is he going to do his best Khan impression? Kill number 1 goes down. Ignar could fall, but no. The Baron has now been started by Jin Air. They've wasted a lot of time bottom lane. Ignar does have his teleport available, and they figure out what's going on. Jin Air back away. It's a 1-for-1 trade on the bottom of the map.
An outnumbered situation. So1 does get the 1-for-1, and the enemy smite down. He will also have teleport. We'll wait and see if that means anything for the next couple of moments. First thought is probably no. We haven't seen the capitalization in this series that we see from some other teams. Regroup. Vladimir is still hitting his items slower than his opposition, but still hitting them. You wonder if BBQ can nail one of the team fights that so far haven't truly gone their way.
And Teddy, still, it doesn't matter what he's on, he's still just hoovering up minions.
Yeah.
And he's got the Gathering Storm.
Is the Fountain Laser going to come out this time or not?
Yeah, is it going to be a laser that just shoots different things? As the Rise certainly not the same Fountain Laser that we saw from his Sivir in that iconic matchup.
A lot of the mages and bruisers that Teddy's played this season don't fit into the guise of the Fountain Laser, the nickname we gave him in spring season after that famous game against SK Telecom, 94 Minutes to Dream. This Rise could certainly be a Fountain Laser, so be hyped to see Teddy actually perform in the late game in a way he hasn't this season.
Yeah, it's a very different way of playing as well. You don't just right-click someone, you have to use all of your buttons very, very quickly as the old Rise, but he's doing so very, very well so far in the laning phase. I feel like Rise players, it takes a certain person to be a Rise player. You really need to get the nuances of the
What
champion.
does this person look and act like? I need to know right now the person you're seeing in your mind's eye. He's a Rise?
He is a Rise.
To me, it's Shy. Keep it Korean.
Oh, yeah.
Shy and Flame. They're my ideas of a Rise player.
The see hero, kill hero strategy was one that I really warmed to when I
For me,
first
Alex,
saw
it's
M5.
just all about the mid lane Kazakhs.
Really?
The resets, baby.
Oh, that's ambition for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've got the EU-Korea alliance going on.
I'll take the Korean for the champion choice. There we go.
I mean, Korea very often looked at what EU was doing and then basically tried to improve on it. The week 1 to week 2 Korea jump at Worlds that we saw so many times.
It was a really exciting time there as the Vow has to be used to get Songwon out of danger. Sorry, So-Won. So-Won was playing yesterday. BBQ once again going to be able to get vision supremacy around this Baron. The Do-Si-Do once again going to continue. So we're just trading vision one way or another. That gold lead has not really changed. In fact, it's smaller. That one pick onto Umti going to go in favor of BBQ. But right now, game slowing down. You have to feel that BBQ very happy with how this one's going. Dang, it's dark on this map for Jin Air.
That's before there's any paranoia used.
Sanguine Pool now on cooldown. Ghost does have Hemo Plague. Just can't get the engage that he wants necessarily.
Again, Teddy is basically a raid boss. Finding a way to kill him is absolutely what you need to do as BBQ Olivers. He's happy to frontline. This is a Jug of Rise.
Yep, the charge going to come down. Nova very easily just going to flash, as well as the Devour and get Teddy out of the way. Still a lot of movement speed on the map here as So-Won. He's headed down towards the bottom side. He wants split push. He's had enough. Doesn't want to go for any of this weird team fighting nonsense. He's just going to try and take down the bottom inhibitor turret.
Nova got more scared than his teammate. I don't think he needed to flash out at all because there were so many shields, full health on the Rise.
If you hear that trumpet, though, I mean, it's pretty scary.
Well, I'm waiting for another scary sound.
Oh, God, has to use the stopwatch to keep himself alive. That last Q, like that one, is going to kill him. Just prolonging the inevitable. And now Teddy, look at how fast he's running to get underneath this inner turret. They ran out of minions.
They should run to
Baron.
Baron.
They've got their way in. Exactly right.
A pick on a jungler. Could it be any simpler, Atlas?
I don't know. We'll see. We've seen some very weird stuff so far today, Papa Smithy, when it comes to proactive plays. But the Purple Worm has been engaged. And they've got a hell of a lot of damage. BBQ, can they get a steal without a smite as Ignar? He's just doing some weird stuff. They're giving this one up, and the Purple Worm goes down. Jin Air, finally, with their way into this game.
Got the double smite, so confident to go in. Ends up being Nova that picks it up. Just using the spell book to jump over to the smite.
It was double smite in the end. Yes, sorry, I didn't pick it up, Papa. Thank you for that.
And what did I say? A pick onto the jungler and a Baron. We knew it was going to go that way. Unfortunately, when it is the quality of 9th versus 10th, it's so often going to go that way. They got the pick onto Bono frontlining. 0, 5, and 5. Maybe trick next time, BBQ, as just too much damage on the Rise.
And I feel like desperation looks like different things from different teams, Papa. You see KT, when they're desperate, they're making ludicrous plays all across the map. Sometimes you got a team, when they look desperate, they do nothing because they're so scared of making a mistake. That wasn't Jin Air this time around. They've made the proactive play. They got the pick onto Bono, and now BBQ. This could be the mental collapse time like we saw in game number 1. Can they turn it around and actually find themselves a pick? Because we're at a time of the game where BBQ are going to be happy. 3 items on the Mundo, pretty difficult to kill. 3 items now on the Vladimir. He does a whole lot of work, and Tempter's got 3 at the same time. This could be a good moment for BBQ to find a fight if they can kill Teddy.
But we're literally getting a metaphor for all of Jin Air. It's Teddy at the front. It's Teddy with the shields. It's Teddy frontlining as Rise carry. And he's not going to worry about this either.
Yep, that's another Devour in trade of a charge. And as far as cooldown numbers are concerned, you'll take that one as a Jin Air fan. Teddy, you can see these crits. They're really tearing through the minions. If anyone gets hit by that, we saw Bono took 2 rotations and he was dead. Okay, so one's going to get in here as well as, Ghost. He's just going to get engaged on. Sanguine Pool has to be used. Hemo Plague onto 2 members. Apprehend. That's a very dead Vladimir. He's a huge part of this team fight as well as he looks dumbfounded. Jin Air just going to try and break open this base. Teddy flashing for whichever kills he can. Man, he's a shark. He can smell blood in this water, and he's tearing BBQ apart.
It seems like Jin Air going to get that first big victory. Only one team could come away, and a 2-0 means so much for the side of Jin Air. The speed up, the shields, everything on Teddy.
Yeah, the momentum as well in this game feels like it's really hit a different level for Jin Air as Teddy rips through Crazy. You're a tank? I don't think so. Not to this Rise. Inhibitor falls in the mid lane. It'll go down easily on the bottom side as well, as who cares about the health bars of anyone else? You look at Teddy right now, you see whether he's dying. If he's not, Jin Air are winning this game.
Looking for the finish here. BBQ once again watching Jin Air take everything.
Yep, that Weaver's Wall is only going to stop BBQ from defending their Nexus. That integrate move is finally Tempt is going to jump in, but Teddy, look at how safe he is. Seismic Shove does basically nothing. BBQ just losing health bar all over the place. Ghost dives into the backline, but who cares? Umti just tears apart the Nexus. 2-0 for Jin Air. They're not going defeated this season, but a different story for BBQ.
Only one team can come away with the victory. It's going to be the Glad plane today for Jin Air Greenwings. And for once, it's the late game insurance of Teddy that actually gets them that first victory. Before the season started, you would have known that if Jin Air win, it's usually through Teddy. We wouldn't have known it would be through the Rise. It's a different look, but boy, did he perform. And that's the difference between Jin Air and BBQ, is that Jin Air in Game 2 did have a carry. They could put all the eggs in, give him all the shields, the speed up, make it all about Teddy. While he brings you the victory, he's the royalty for Jin Air Greenwings.
Yeah, and he made it look so damn good as well. I think that was the most hard carry performance by a Rise that we've seen so far this season. Absolutely fantastic stuff coming out from Jin Air, going back to a tried and true style. Get behind the Teddy has been something they've been able to do, but Teddy changing up that style, playing full frontline with this Rise. It was like watching a Juggermore composition or something like that.
Jugger Rise, baby.
Yeah, Jugger Rise. The wizard of the frontline, tanking things up, wearing his sweet hat, and tearing people down with his 6 spells. I like it.
I like the answers that we saw from Jin Air against the Kled as well. Maybe we'll see those rolled in again, as the Tahm Kench every time was just like, okay, you initiated on the Rise. The positioning from Teddy, remember, is a counter to Kled also, because Kled dives in, Rise has huge shields, and the Tahm Kench gets instantly single target removed, and Kled ultimate is on cooldown. This is a team trying to do what we saw from Rogue Warriors, trying to turn it around in a couple of days, but that wasn't a Rogue Warriors cheese strat. That was the premium stuff for Rogue Warriors they've been putting together for a very long time. For BBQ, it was something new, but unfortunately, it's back to the losing. They finished the first round robin 0-9.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Teddy did more damage than their 3 top damage dealers combined. Missed out by about 100 damage there, so just despicable stuff from the Rise. No one able to out-damage the Nocturne. And this is what this series has felt like. BBQ not doing enough to try and hit back against Jin Air. Yes, they had some cheesy dives, but just looked like desperation. They really had no other strategy other than let's just crazily outnumber someone and hope we get something for this.
Speaking of crazy outnumbers, you talked about how big that number is in the Rise. It's about 80% of the enemy's team damage just from Rise.
Yeah.
On the side of Jin Air, so Teddy will win MVP. Of course he will.
Well, he was the one making all of the proactive plays here for Jin Air, and of course, he's going to pick that one up, his second for the season. And when you've only won 3 games, you can tell exactly who the MVP for Jin Air is, just in general, as Teddy's picked up 66%.
I watched from the start of the game where Umti again on the front foot made a nice move. This was the kill onto Bono. Teddy was the one to pick it up, and from there, every team fight, it was the same. Live or replay, you might ask in Twitch chat, because every time Kled went in, Tahm Kench ate the Rise, and Rise turned around, stood and delivered, and he had plenty of items to stand and deliver, and BBQ just felt the brunt of Teddy's madness every time.
And you can see Teddy just understands when the cooldowns are up and available as well. You can see there, he had a low health bar, but knew there just weren't the threats that there were at the beginning of that fight, where he had to play respectfully. This roam warp was a little bit of a short-handed one.
This positioning from Bono was not respectful enough. He's the one with the smite. He can't walk up as 0-4 Talia to the Rise, who has free farmed and also gotten some nice kills. That's what got them the Baron, and from there, Jin Air could close this one out.
Yeah, Teddy ignoring all the damage as well with that Seraphs available to him. They moved over to the Baron, like you say, and it was all she wrote. From that point onwards, It was some slow play in the middle. It was definitely a Jin Air game at the middle, but you know that if Jin Air make it to a late game scenario, it is this man, the man on your screen right now, that they have always relied on. And it's great to see him standing up to the task yet again. So, for the first time this season, we're going to get the MVP interview with Umpty and Teddy. So take it away, Joel.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel, and it's a great pleasure and honor to do the translations for the Glad Plane interview. We're here with Jin Air Greenwings, finally picking up a win of the season. It's the first time in this interview booth, and we're going to talk with Umpty and Teddy for the interview translation. Of course, not the happiest faces in the world, but they still do pick up a victory. Umpty, anything like to say? You look really down. I really tried to be bright at most times, but it's been really tough in recent days, and personally, I've been having tough times as well, so it's been tough times for sure. Teddy, I mean, you look just as down as he is. How was that game overall? Especially having to go through such a tough phase, having losing so much. We played well, but never really got the win, so it was kind of disappointing to the fact that the scoreline shows that we were the worst team out most of the time. Of course, you guys always probably were thinking that you have to work harder to get the win, and it seems like an obvious thing, but what else do you think, especially because on this, especially the big change that you guys needed to finally get this win, and something that really was needed for the better run of Jin Air. I can't really say attempt is the best word for it, because we never really thought that attempting is not really enough unless you get the win, and losing, it doesn't really matter because you have to find the answer that provides you with the win, and we try many things. But in the result, in the conclusion, the thing is that we just never play better than the opposition at all times. So, we didn't matter that, what competition we picked, what picks and bans we did. We had to get the win. That was the most important thing. And of course, with Teddy, when he has to be the one to step up, he definitely just goes all out and really turns up for just so righteous for the event, and especially with that Rise that you picked up today. I think out of the ADCs out there in LCK, I'm one of the better Rise players out there. And you talked about the very flare movements of the junglers of both teams, actually, from both of those games. And did you feel like the importance of junglers is definitely up there? I mean, the leveling and just the whole pathing and trying to get experience is so difficult for junglers nowadays with the recent patches, and you have to kind of rush towards getting that level 3 and to getting the additional level so they can actually contribute to the game. And really just feels like for nowadays the junglers just only think about just erasing the wars, just taking care of the vision. I just can't carry with the jungler anymore, because even if I get the kill, it doesn't really matter, because it ends up being that it allows the other players in the team to do a little bit better, have more contribution. I think Umpty's feeling a little bit anger about the current state of the patch, but let's just calm down the anger for now and see some of the great things that he did during that game. And it really was a top encounter, was going well for the side of BBQ. I mean, Sohan did a great job with that one because he knew this play was a possibility, and I knew that Kindred was right there, and we actually had that vision available, so it was a really sneaky play that worked well for us. And of course, a little bit before that, and you guys had a tough time, especially with Kindred. You guys had to probably concentrate a little bit more, knowing that you picked the Kindred this time around. And this was when Kindred, it was at around that death zone, when it really has a hard time getting away from that flank, and whenever it just tries to come in, tries to get the kill on me. So, I knew that, ever since I got that kill on the other end, I got the free blue back, so it felt pretty good to get that kill right away. And it really is as a new partnership with you and the support, obviously, with Nova now on the lineup, and now you have that first win on the board. How do you feel? It wasn't the best of a duo matchup because now we're trying to do better as a duo to get that synergy up, something that's definitely not there yet, but we're trying very hard to get there. And we thought that Tamkench and Rise, definitely that partnership was really good. And we're trying. Let's go to a different question here. Of course, the first win came through with Umti, but Kakao was recently added onto the team and hasn't really gone to a thing where it's been a lot of controversy as to what contribution he's making. Who do you feel is the kind of the bigger contributor in terms of talking between Kakao and Umti? I mean, Kakao does a good job of hyping us up and always, but it feels like Umti sometimes gets depressed a little bit, but ever since, every time that, it gets a little loud and rowdy because it's sometimes a good thing. Yeah, I think Kakao is a little kid. He feels like a little kid for me. And he's an older brother of mine, but it feels like just a friend, someone that has just around the same age as me, and I haven't really seen a type of maturity of Kakao where I could admire that and maybe follow up to that and look up to it, but other than that, he's a great guy. Of course, being mature is a great part of being a player here, and we have to look at another video where we can have another interesting topic to discuss here. And this was a team fight where we thought that the Nocturne going in was seemingly a bad choice for Umti to go in. There was a situation there, and this was right around, just a chase coming in from Teddy, just ADC in the front line, working out there. Do you feel like you can do that because of the Tamkench? Well, the Tamkench is always an insurance, and that security that's always there, so it allows me to play more aggressive there. Everything is about Teddy in the terms of composition. I mean, Teddy was a little bit angry. If anybody just gets near me while I'm fighting, I'm gonna scream on them later on. So he really wanted to be alone. He wanted to just induce that confidence of his. But any champion that he picks up, he does pretty well, so it's something that we always have to appreciate. And it just feels like it seems like a Lulu mid and a support, supporting the ADC, but now it's the AP carry that has been doing so well for you guys. Really, it's unbelievable that it is the first interview with Umti and Teddy because both players did so well. Anything you wanted to say over the chance that you didn't get to do the interview so far this season? It is the last game of the round 1 robin. We had close ones that we lost out, so it's very disappointing for that, but at the same time, we have the second round robin left for us, so we're going to try to do better to get a lot more wins. And of course, regardless of what teams did better on the day, but it just feels like the fans were definitely right there. And of course, with the family that's been there, has been the #1 fan for you guys. Would you like to say anything? Of course, as a team representative, you just say to all the parents out there. We thank you for cheering for us, even if we always lost, and we're gonna try to become a winning team in the second round robin. Of course, a bit awkward to say that for the side of Teddy with the parents on board. I want to tell them good things, but I'm sure that's the best thing you could tell them for the time being. But with Umti, as he said, this is the first win, but many more are hopeful for Jin and Greenwings as they ride the claim pin tonight. We're going to send it back to you guys for the rest of the segment.
Thank you very much, Joel. Great to hear from Teddy and Umti. Finally, Jin and Greenwings are able to come away with a victory, but unfortunately, we're not going to hear from BBQ Olivers, and we may not for quite some time.
There's always winners and losers in sport, but in this battle between two teams without a win, Jin Air will have that little renaissance. They'll feel like perhaps the next match for them will be a winnable one. For BBQ, just like there's always good news stories, there's a bad news story. They do end the first round robin 0-9. And honestly, on a performance like that, very little to transfer to your next game. Maybe Trick comes back, but it's not anything. There's no one person who comes away kind of unblemished from the loss. I thought it was pretty poor from BBQ. We'll leave that to one side for now. MVP versus Kingzone. We'll see if MVP can extend the losing streak of the Rift Rivals teams. Because remember, until now, if you went to Rift Rivals, you've not even won a game.
Yeah, it's 0-4 right now. Could be 0-6 if MVP are able to upset. However, if Kingzone are able to win this, they go up to 7 wins, equal with Griffin. Griffin then have to face off against another 6-win team in Gen G. We could have a 3-way tie at the top, going all the way back to game score. However, guys, with a 2-0, it is going to be quite a wait for that Kingzone versus MVP series. So about 50 minutes and we'll be back. But guys, thank you so much for watching this particular series. Go get yourself something to eat, do whatever you like, and we'll see you after for a cracker of a series between MVP and Kingzone.